Daniel Mail here, breaking down the latest article from People magazine on the Alexander brothers. It is sensationalized and a lot of recycled accusations that doesn't really offer new information, but it's worthy of checking out just to see what's actually going on. It says wealthy brothers, secret predators, the rise and fall of the Alexanders, accused sex traffickers. Miami-born executives Warren, Alone, and Tall Alexander are accused of luring women to lavish parties and sexually assaulting them. First of all, Alone was not in real estate, so kind of an indication perhaps there's some sort of PR behind this or something along those lines, because there's a basic fact that's off just at the beginning. It says, it felt like a fairy tale. That's what Maria Suska, 40, a nurse who immigrated to the U.S. from Poland when she was a teenager, remembered thinking when, after years of focusing on work and not her social life, she met a charming and handsome real estate broker named Warren Alexander on Facebook in April 2014. They met for dinner at a restaurant in Miami, and within hours, he was leading her by the hand into a darkened room at the Villa Casa Quasarina Hotel, formerly the Versace Mansion in South Beach. But Suska's romantic dream turned into a nightmare after the couple's first embrace. So they meet, and all of a sudden they're embracing, and that's a romantic dream, apparently. She claims that her date that night turned violent, according to a report she filed with the Miami Beach Police last year. So this is 10 years later. He grabs me, turns me around, and starts aggressively kissing me. She recalls an interview with People. Startled, Suska says she assumed that her date was nervous and politely asked him to calm down. But that only seemed to excite him more. She says that the more I resisted, the more he got aggressive. His eyes changed and he started undressing me and pushed me down, and then he raped me, she said. When it was over, Suska says, she looked up and saw her attacker smirking as he said coldly, "That was good." A decade later, Suska is just one of dozens of women who have accused Warren, as well as his twin brother Alone and older brother Tall, of sexually assaulting them. The inseparable siblings had been social figures in Miami, New York, and Aspen, where they wielded power, access, and money in the luxury real estate market. Now, it's important to note that Suska's claims are not included in the federal case nor the state case because it's outside the statute of limitations, and there is little to no evidence of her claims in that they were only brought to light 10 years later, and it just does not exist. Dating back to their high school days in Miami, authorities claim the Alexander brothers have been sexually assaulting women alone and sometimes as a group, and grew more emboldened after they all moved to New York by 2009, at times videotaping their non-consensual encounters with women, and eventually allegedly trafficking women for sex during stays in the Hamptons in Mexico. Now, that claim is basically saying that people are flying to a destination and they're receiving, their flights are paid for, that this is somehow trafficking. I think that it would be very interesting to look inside every single frat house in America when people are going to Florida or Mexico for spring break, what qualifies. Obviously, the non-consensual part is the most important thing here. But in terms of sex trafficking, it's not as if someone picked someone off the side of the road and then held them against their will. This is a different understanding of that statute. In pre-dawn raids at the brothers' home in Florida, FBI agents and police arrested Warren, Alone, and Tall on December 11, 2024. Between them, they have since been charged with a total of 20 federal counts. The brothers are also facing more than 40 sexual assault lawsuits in New York City, New York, Florida, and Colorado. Now awaiting trial without bail at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, the same facility where Sean Diddy Combs and CEO killing suspect Luigi Mangione are being held. The Alexander brothers maintain their innocence on all of the criminal charges and have denied liability in all of the civil suits. So again, this is mentioned, it's a fact, but it's mentioned bringing in these heinous people, definitely not providing a good association. Let's put it that way. The civil lawsuits are, quote, examples of unsupported accusations by women demanding untold amounts of money who did not file a police complaint and did not seek medical attention and did not report physical injuries, end quote, says Alone's attorney Howard Srebnick. Quote, they offer zero forensic evidence that they were drugged or that Alone sexually assaulted them, and they fail to identify anyone on the planet Earth who corroborates their stories, says Srebnick. As for the federal criminal case, Srebnick claims Alone passed a lie detector test and, quote, truthfully declared that he never drugged any women nor had sex with any woman who he believed was drugged. Now it says, quote, not one accuser had gone to law enforcement agency to report these allegations against the brothers. Every single accuser's personal injury attorney who split any financial award with them are the ones who contacted law enforcement. Somehow they all came forward at the same time after they were apparently R-worded 8 to 20 years ago, zombies have awoken, or it was the sophisticated social media campaign the injury attorneys ran to solicit girls who can now say sex with the brothers is non-consensual. Consensual is worthless. Non-consensual is worth millions, their lawyers say. But 10 years after her devastating night with Oren at a Miami hotel that she claims changed her life forever, Maria Suska, whose own allegations are past the statute of limitations to prosecute, hopes justice will be served to the brothers in court. Quote, I lost so many years of my life and all the time they've been walking free, partying and doing the same thing to other girls, she says. Finally, they will get what they deserve, end quote. Again, hearsay, prejudicial, and not really relevant to the case. So this is framing one person's allegations against the brothers. Clearly, the brothers are not going to respond to People Magazine. What's said against them could be used against them in court. Sorry, what they say could be used against them in court. But it's this kind of sensationalized headlines that are driving 90% of the coverage of the case. And this is not to say that they're necessarily innocent. It's just saying that the coverage is not impartial, and the coverage is to draw clicks and to try to generate this overwhelming narrative. It's yet to be seen what the truth is, and hopefully they get their day in court fairly. And if they did do these things, they deserve to be punished. But if they did not, they also deserve the assumption of innocence until they're proven guilty. So that's just a little bit of a coverage of the People Magazine article. And again, please like and subscribe below so we continue to cover this and people can continue to get the word.